folks, me again, back with another episode of Mental Health Matters in the Workplace. And today I just want to share with you two interesting questions that were emailed to me following a recent workshop on understanding and managing mental illness in the workplace. And the first one was, can depression lead to mental illness or Alzheimer's? And the first part of that was a bit concerning to me, in that can depression lead to mental illness? Because obviously depression is a mental illness. But the part I want to address is, can it lead to Alzheimer's? And in short, no, it can't. Because Alzheimer's is a neurological condition. And what happens in Alzheimer's is that the brain atrophies, so it gets smaller, it shrinks. A bit like the muscles on our bodies also shrink. So it's part of the aging process. If we live long enough, most of us will get an element of dementia or Alzheimer's, just like we'll get wrinkles and some sagging muscles in places we don't want them. So, but depression doesn't lead to Alzheimer's. It's not a cause of Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's can lead to depression, and this normally happens in the early days when the person is aware of what's going on, so they realize that they're losing their brain capacity, and obviously you can imagine that that is very distressing, so it can cause depression. And the other important thing to understand is that some of the cognitive symptoms of depression and Alzheimer's are the same, in that in both conditions you can have forgetfulness, you can have concentration impairment, and you can have impaired executive functioning. So there is an overlap of symptoms, but they are quite different in terms of the types of illnesses that they are. The second question that I find quite interesting, and that is, reasonable accommodation requires empathy. How can I build this in myself where I don't already have it? And that's actually a great question, because yes, reasonable accommodation does require empathy. And many of you will know that empathy means understanding, or at least trying to imagine what another person is going through. So if you're in a position at work where you're managing a person who presents with a mental illness, if you can't understand, or at least try to imagine how difficult things are for them, you're not going to be very forthcoming in terms of accommodating them. And my experience over many years of working in the corporate world is that a lot of employers and managers find it a lot easier to put into place these reasonable accommodations for people with physical conditions, because they understand them better. So for example, the person in a wheelchair who needs a ramp at the entrance to the building, or a special parking bay close to the entrance, you know, those are quite easy accommodations for employers to handle. But with mental illness, it can be more difficult. So yes, if you're a manager or an employer, and you think that you're not very empathetic, try to develop that as a skill. And then I think you will find, together with understanding mental illness and what it actually entails, I think you'll be able to accommodate and keep your employees at work with a lot greater ease. All right. Okay, we'll leave it at that for now. I'll see you next time. Bye.